When I bought my first home, I thought I had it all figured out. I thought it was ready to go. Everything was awesome. I ended up selling that house 9 months later, and I'm going to explain to you why what I thought was a good decision actually ended up being a not so great decision for my wife and I when we bought our first home over 9 years ago. Let's jump right in. Hey, I'm Jesse with Fisco Real Estate, and I help people buy and sell homes and even flip homes without the headaches and making it a really fun, enjoyable experience. And if that's something that resonates with you, I would recommend you smash that like button or ring the bell, subscribe to our channel, because we're going to share a ton of information regarding real estate here in the great state of Utah. And maybe this information can even help you in wherever you reside. So, like I mentioned, I bought my first home right here in Eagle Mountain, Utah, back in 2017. This home I thought was awesome. It was an underpriced home in the area. I grew up working on homes and I knew I could be in the handyman special area. And so we bought this home thinking it was going to be a great investment. It was also extremely affordable. But what we didn't think about was one of the biggest things, which was the distance from work. At the time, I was not a real estate agent. I was working and going to school. And what I didn't realize is I bought this home, yes, but the amount of time I was actually in the home was literally from 9:30 at night until 5:30 in the morning when I had to get up. That's all the time I ever spent in the home. And so we had this home and we never did anything with it. We didn't get to know our neighbors. We didn't really enjoy the time that we were there because we didn't spend much time in it. It was an hour and a half drive time every single day. And looking back, I wish I had that time back. And that's where I would recommend when you're looking at a home, of course, affordability is important. And also, like, everyone wants to get as much home as they can for the price that they're willing to pay. But I would encourage you to consider the costs that are lurking behind the corner, the cost of gas, the cost of time, and most importantly, the cost of your sanity. So let's jump into number two of why this house was actually not the best investment. And that reason was, as you can see in the back, there was this giant trampoline hole. Now, my wife and I, we don't have a trampoline. My wife and I were never home. And so we never got to utilize the backyard. But when we went to sell the home, what we found is that trampoline hole was a huge issue. Now, having someone come and fill that trampoline hole was actually going to cost us a couple $1,000s because of the depth of the hole. And you want to, when you go finish the yard, you want to make sure that the grading's nice and that the dirt does not continue over time to go down, thus creating a bowl in your backyard. And so when we figured that out, that was a massive, massive headache that we overlooked and quite frankly should have pressed the seller harder for. The third reason why our first house was a large mistake in purchasing was because we bought too much house. What we found is that, yes, when we went out to Eagle Mountain, and I'm not knocking on Eagle Mountain, it was a great place, but when we moved out there, we had a home over 2,400 square feet between two people. Now, that may sound nice, but there were 3 bedrooms that were not being used. And what we found is over time, we started accumulating more and more things. And when it came to selling the home, all those things we accumulated, we ended up selling for significantly less than what we paid for it because where we were going next was not as big. And so those are the 3 things I wish, like, going back, and I talk to first time home buyers or people buying homes all the time. Those are some of the top 3 things that I just cannot get out of my mind of what drove us absolutely crazy when buying our first home. If you're buying your next home soon, I encourage you to start looking outside of just the layout of the home and some of the other amazing features. Don't get
Wow.
jaded and blinded by the beauty of the inside of the home because all of those things are cosmetic. If you're buying a home soon, I highly encourage you to consider the things you're not considering. Now, that sounds really silly, right? Because how am I going to do that? Well, if you click on the link below, you're going to find a checklist of all the different items that maybe you haven't considered when buying a home. And this is something I highly encourage you to take a look at. And you can get that absolutely free. No gimmicks, no emails, no nothing. Just want to provide you absolute value to make sure you are prepared for your next home purchase. Thank you so much for watching this video. Like and subscribe for more content, and hopefully it's useful to you. Hope you have a wonderful day.